Well, USDA's latest crop report shows 72% of corn good to excellent, and that is right in line with last year. From weather trends and global market developments, farmers, they are watching a lot of factors as we enter the summer months. David Klein with the American Society of Farm Managers and Rural Appraisers joins us now. David, always a pleasure. Good morning to you, sir. I know, of course, here we are, right, heading in to the second part of the growing season in the Midwest. What are you seeing around your area in terms of crop production?
Yeah, good morning, Suzanne. I'm in Bloomington, Illinois, and that's kind of the central part of the state. Crops are hitting second gear and moving straight ahead. We've got some heat finally this week, and that's allowed the crops just to grow overnight, as they say. And so with that additional warmth and moisture, growing units are picking up. Soybeans are starting to hit that time of period of year, summer solstice, and the early planted beans are starting to flower already. That's going to give us more nodes to put on more pods and hopefully produce a great crop. Of course, the weeds are growing too. And so farmers in between rains and trying to miss rains here and there are trying to get weeds sprayed and try to stay ahead of those. We say get them early and often as you can. And so that's where that's at. Corn's getting side dressed with nitrogen. We're excited about the opportunities to get that done. Corn crop looks really good in central Illinois. One of the things we're watching as we go through this process, the most of the nitrogen has been bought for this year already by farmers. But one thing we're watching is overseas, 40% of the export market for urea is kind of at war right now, whether it be Russia or Iran or Egypt even gets affected by it a little bit because of Israel and where they get their natural gas. So prices for nitrogen as we look to 2026 is something we actually have started to think about. So all kinds of good things happening, but we're certainly got an eye to the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everybody, of course, keeping an eye on these tariffs and how it's going to play out. A lot of folks, I mean, listen, right here, say right now, I said, I wish we had a crystal ball and can see how it's all going to play out. But hopefully things will settle down in time for that nitrogen purchase. David, what about farmland values right now? The latest when it comes to that, middle of the year, how are things looking?
Yeah, it's a super tight supply right now. I got an interesting email from Compeer Financial, which is the kind of farm credit for this area last night. And they quoted an auction we had back in March as a barometer auction sale. That just tells you how little activity there's probably been in Illinois to show as a barometer in that period. But we're going to have a sale on Friday, 197 acres in Woodford County. That'll give us another spot. And we're coming up on the middle of the year now. And at First Mid, we actually track publicly traded arm's length transactions. And our data is showing, just like the Federal Reserve came out with a couple of weeks ago, that land has kind of maybe ticked just a small digit higher. We're looking at roughly $119 per PI point per tillable acre. And the last half of 2024 was around 118. And of course, the peak was in 2023 was around 121. So, we're off a little bit off the highs, like we've said all along, but some strength in this first half of the year kind of puts Class A land in that $16,000 to $17,000 range on some of these high quality soils, depending on the percent tillable and the location. Location's always important. So for everyone, it's going to be important to manage expectations as we go towards fall. I think there will be some more land come for sale in the fall that will naturally occur as things always do with that 1% to 2% of the land for sale.
I was going to ask you, obviously seeing tick a little bit higher, but still overall a little bit down, and I guess appealing for a buyer in that regard. But the fact that there's just not a lot of land as far as agricultural land for sale, but you see that kind of improving as we head to the fall. Is that typical?
It is typical for the summer months. Now, I did kind of do a quick review yesterday of what upcoming auctions there are for the next 3 months that are out there. Looks like there's going to be about 40 auctions in the state of Illinois. But in Iowa, I only found about 20, which is kind of interesting, in Indiana, 21. So for the I states, we don't expect many over the summer, but maybe a few more tests of the market in Illinois than those other two states right now. And we'll see how that translates to things as we go through the summer.
So seems like a little bit of a head scratcher for you, something that you haven't seen in the past?
Well, I mean, from the standpoint of 40 is enough. It's not a typical thing to see over the summer to see a lot of land transact. we're going to have 3 ourselves, 3 or 4, and we may typically only have a couple. So that's, I think all in due time, but there's some uncertainty out there with folks, and that may play into things as well. So some are bringing to the market earlier than what they would have otherwise.
Absolutely. That's a good point. I think everybody just waiting to see how everything plays out and holding on to what they have right now. David, thank you, as always, for joining us. Great information, as always. David Klein with the American Society of Farm Managers and Rural Appraisers.